Steel Force is a large Morgan hypercoaster located at Dorney Park. It stands 200 feet tall, has 5,600 feet of track, and reaches a top speed of 75 miles per hour. It is one of the first hypercoasters the Legacy Cedar Fair chain added to its parks in the 1990s. And this coaster is a great ride packed with some amazing airtime. This is our full-length, in-depth review of Steel Force and our comments about what you can expect when you go to Dorney Park to ride this coaster. Now, let's get into the review. Steel Force opened in 1997 and was the tallest, longest, and fastest roller coaster on the East Coast when it first opened. While it no longer holds these distinctions, Steel Force is still Dorney Park's headlining attraction, and it towers over the rest of the park. When you first arrive at the park, you will see several roller coasters towering in the park's skyline. One of the most prominent coasters in that skyline is Steel Force, with its red lift hill and first airtime hill standing just as tall as the rest of the park's coasters. And this visual is impressive since Steel Force is located towards the back of the park and down a hill. Once you get into the park, you proceed down a relatively steep hill towards Cedar Creek. You take a left through the Steel Yard and towards Iron Menace, the park's new for 2024 roller coaster. Before you reach Iron Menace, though, you take a right over a bridge, past the Revolution Flat Ride and Thunderhawk's Turnaround, and into Steel Force's large entrance plaza. This entrance plaza does not have the same grandeur as those at other Legacy Cedar Fair parks, like Fury 325 at Carowinds, Orion at Kings Island, or even Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland. But it still gets the job done of getting you excited for the ride to come. You see the coaster's massive lift hill, the ride station, and the ride's Phantom marquee ride sign and logo. As you walk past the ride sign into the main queue, you will not see any theming, just switchbacks. And this lack of theming continues as you enter the station. While there is a Steel Force logo on the station building itself, there is nothing else except on-platform bins and one of Steel Force's 3 6-car, 36-passenger trains. And these trains are the classic Morgan trains with a lap bar and a seatbelt. Once you have boarded your train, fastened your seatbelt, secured your lap bar, and cleared dispatch, you proceed slowly out of the station and along some straight track towards the lift hill to start your ride. At the top of the lift hill, you go over a slight pre-drop before plunging down Steel Force's 205-foot first drop sloped at 61 degrees. If you are in the front row, you will not get much airtime. That said, the front row offers a cool hesitation moment. If you're sitting in the back row, though, you will get some great floater airtime all the way down before slamming back into your seat and climbing up Steel Force's massive first camelback airtime hill. As you go up this airtime hill, you will get some good floater airtime while sitting in the front row. If you are sitting in the back row, you get some good floater airtime coming off the airtime hill. You then climb up into Steel Force's second airtime hill, which gives a good moment of floater airtime if you are sitting in the front row, followed by a slight dip before Steel Force's most forceful moment, a 720-degree downward rightward banked helix. And this helix is awesome in that it uses the Dorney Park terrain wonderfully to build up speed. This helix is also where you will experience the strongest G-forces and laterals. You are just pinned to the side of your seat. And at the bottom of the helix, you bank towards the left up into the mid-course brake run. If you are sitting towards the front of the train, you will get a nice pop of airtime climbing up into the mid-course brake run. If you are sitting towards the back of the train, you will get a great pop of airtime coming off the mid-course brake run. You then fly over a moderately sized airtime hill, which gives some good floater airtime, followed by another airtime hill, which delivers similar airtime to the previous airtime hill. As you come off of that airtime hill, you fly over another bunny hill, which gives some of the sharpest airtime on the ride, followed by a double up. This double up gives a good pop of ejector airtime if you are sitting in the front row, and while it does not hit nearly as hard in the back row, this double up is still quite good. As you climb up the double up, you bank slightly towards the left before banking back towards the right up into the final brake run to complete your ride. As you fly into the final brake run, you will get a slight pop of airtime before the end of the ride, especially if you are sitting in the front row. Steel Force is a fun hypercoaster with some of the craziest airtime on any hypercoaster. Unlike the floater airtime you get on Bolliger and Mabillard hypercoasters, Steel Force, which is a Morgan Hyper, delivers levitating floater airtime that abruptly ends in the valleys between each airtime hill. This sensation makes for an interesting ride since you don't always know when you are going to slam back down into your seat. And what makes Steel Force so good is its restraints. That old school Morgan lap bar, even in the lowest most position, still gives you an insane amount of space. And that extra gap makes the seatbelt all the more necessary given this roller coaster's great floater airtime. Needless to say, this roller coaster has some great airtime. In addition to the airtime, Steel Force pulls some great forces, particularly on that helix. As soon as you start picking up speed, you are pinned to the side of your seat. You will also get a stronger sense of speed while sitting towards the front row. After you dive off the mid-course brake run, it is just one airtime hill after another. Steel Force's airtime is definitely sharper and ends more abruptly than other hypercoasters out there. That different sensation is what makes Steel Force and old school Morgan Hypers so fun. As for where to sit, definitely try both the front and the back rows, as some elements shine towards the front of the train while others are much better towards the back. That said, the back row offers the better overall ride experience, as you get great flow to airtime going down the first drop, coming off the airtime hills, and coming off the mid-course brake run. You also get some powerful laterals during that helix. It is definitely a great ride, though it is not nearly as good as Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood, which is much more ejector airtime focused rather than floater airtime focused. Overall, Steel Force is a great ride and the headlining roller coaster at Dorney Park. Its airtime is just so crazy that you cannot help but smile, especially if you are sitting in the back row. For our final score, we give Steel Force an 8 out of 10. It is a great roller coaster with some amazing moments. So, let us know in the comments below if you have ridden Steel Force at Dorney Park, and if so, what you think about it. And if you enjoyed this video or are new to the channel, please like and subscribe for more coaster content like this. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more coaster reviews and amusement park content coming soon to Coaster Adventures, and we hope to see you in the next one.